And Virtus came in with a high-level program to be at the end of the third year able to compete with the top powerhouses.
Why do you think he didn't go right?
I think was miss a little bit of courage to say situation changed completely. You feel like you are out of place, and I was really feeling out of place at that point.
So with the situation, did you ever regret leaving the NBA?
Sergio Scariolo, legendary coach of Spain national team.
An NBA champion with the Toronto Raptors.
You won so many trophies, you've coached so many generations. Who's the one player that impressed you the most?
With Pau Gasol, you have the feeling that you were in presence of something different. He had everything. Sometimes I was really thinking that this guy was coming from another planet.
Coach, I have to be honest, I grew all my life in France, cheering for the French national team. You, Llull, Fernandez, Rodriguez gave me all the reasons to hate with all my heart the Spanish national team. Was it personal against France?
Well,
Coach, hello.
how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for welcoming us here in your home, and we welcome you on our podcast, Best in Class. So first, I got some rapid questions for you, and you're just gonna pick your favorite answer. Italy or Spain?
Both.
Club or national team?
Both, possibly.
Win the NBA Finals or win Eurobasket?
NBA Finals.
Assistant coach in the NBA or head coach in the EuroLeague?
At this point, I coach in the EuroLeague.
Talent or discipline?
Both.
Pau Gasol or Mar Gasol?
Wow, that's a tough one. I love Mark. Pau was probably the best.
And last one, timeout, calm or intense?
Calm. They need instructions, not rage.
What makes you different than any other coaches?
I don't think this is a question for me. I can only feel blessed and happy that my passion for the game and my energy, my health, my love for basketball, my willingness to put hours in watching, analyzing, creating is totally untouched. So I really fortunate and blessed about my status right now.
You've been coaching for many years. You also started really young. How do you keep that passion going through the years?
I don't know. That's a good question because that's what people ask you. What drive you?
Exactly.
And probably, the desire to feel good in what you chose to do. If you chose to do something, you better do it in a right way, right? In the high level. Otherwise, pick up a different option. But once again, it's something probably not teachable, not necessarily refuelable. I think is more something which is like a gift,
okay.
which I feel I have, and I am really thankful that I keep loving and willing to learn and to watch and to be at the head of the circumstances at the end of the day.
But talk about gift, but you started really young as a coach. How did that passion for coaching started?
Well, from an injury.
Really?
I got hurt, yeah.
So you were playing pro basketball at some point?
I finally reached as a 12th player, the main team of my city, which was in first division. Back then, basically the rotation was eight players. Don't just put it in the right perspective, right? Right now, the 12th player is a full right rotation player. He has a lot of minutes. Back then, the 12th player was basically right there to help in practices. But right after the start of the season, I partially broke my Achilles, and I had to miss the whole season.
And how old were you at this time?
18.
Wow.
Eight almost.
Yeah, that's a tough injury to get this young.
And then I recovered. No, I cannot say that everything was exactly like before, because sometimes I still feel I had to do ice after I play paddle or I run. But at the same time, during that long free time, I started to take my courses, my classes as an coach to be, because back then Italy had a great organization and in terms of developing
this
coaches.
is a great country for young basketball.
Definitely. We had a great generation of coaches who really reached a very, very high level of competition.
Did you have a model at this time as a young coach?
Well, I had already more than enough with my head coaches. Basically, Riccardo Sales first, Valerio Bianchini after, and in general, also Giancarlo Sacco, Carlo Rinaldi, all the head coaches of mine were impressive. Definitely Riccardo Sales and Valerio Bianchini were the two which left a stronger footprint in my development, in my way of thinking and way of approaching this profession.
If I remember correctly, your first year as a professional assistant coach, you won the league, right, in Italy?
No, the assistant coach, my first year as an assistant coach in Scavolini, Pesaro, we reached back then was the Capo Cup, the second European competition final in Novi Sad against Cibona, against Rasen. The first year was in Caserta. Against Barcelona, and Barcelona won with San Epifanio, Epi, big time. And the next year we went back to the finals in Novi Sad against Cibona Zagreb, coached by legendary Mirko.
That was a great
Novosel.
team at the time, yes.
Yeah, with Drazen Aza, full of unbelievable play, and they beat us again. So the following year, Valerio Bianchini came in, and we won the championship. We won the championship in the big final against Olimpia Milano.
But did you feel that sometimes it was hard to get the coaches, the players' respect as a young assistant? Because, for example, I used to play 2 years professional, and of course, when players see a young assistant coming, they think they can take advantage of that situation. What did you do different to really force respect from your players to you?
Well, I think it depends on 2 basic conditions. First, yourself, and you have to act as a coach, because if you are even younger than your players, you might make the mistake to become a kind of a buddy, a kind of partner in crime, or partying with them, or going out with them.
Were you doing that?
Never, not even once in my life. But at the same time, you cannot act like an established veteran head coach, because they wouldn't take you seriously neither. So you have to find the right balance between being professional, being friendly on the floor, because your function also is to try to be a link, right, between them and the head coach, but with separation. And then the other condition is the head coach behavior and his way of acting when he introduce you to the team, when he give you tasks, functions. Depend a lot on how he will show to the rest of the team that he's considering you. If he's considering you like really his right hand and someone he trusts in, and someone who's in charge for many different tasks with the team, then obviously players don't have any other choice than respecting you and following you. And then again, I would add a third thing, which is basically what you do.
Exactly. Yeah.
At the end of the day, the respect is coming much more by what you do, what you say, how you act, how you behave, than your age, your status, what you did before. I mean, players are obviously at the beginning. If you had done something before, you have a little bit of a bonus,
exactly,
right, to spend. But then after the third day, everything is on what you do on the floor, what you do off the floor, how do you handle the group, the people, especially the personal relationships.
I mean, we're in this amazing trophy room, so you won a lot of trophy. Do you think trophy brings you respect now?
I think it's much more about your reputation, especially with the players. Especially with the players, especially with the respected players, players who can have a platform, who can have a strong voice in basketball. And I am blessed by knowing that they are speaking really high about me. And this is something which I'm always thankful, because this is what is making really the difference, I believe, in how players approach a coach. I mean, more than obviously what you did, you mean trophies, you mean cups, whatever. It's something which is relevant, especially when you win them without being the main favorite. But once again, it's your relationships. It's how you behave with different. I always think that what I'm saying to the 15th player of the team probably it's gonna have a weight on how 3 years later a superstar player who will meet him and who will ask him about me before me going to coach him will have. So
talking about the players, what's your relationship with the players? Do you keep that strong tie, like intimate tie, or you really keep it official? We see the Serbian school of coaches that are much tougher, and then the Western, Spain and stuff, where the coaches are much more welcoming, let's say. How do you behave with your players?
I try to have a balance. I mean, I know I'm demanding on the floor. I know that sometimes I can be a little bit even heavy to stand on the floor.
And all coaches are. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's probably what even players need.
Yeah.
Sometime, right? Because they need someone who are holding them accountable in every little detail. Because overall, they are normally accountable and they are normally professional. They are normally willing to do their best. But sometimes they might miss the importance of a little detail, the importance of keeping the focus and the concentration high until the very last second of the practice, until the very last second of the game. So I try to be obviously close, especially outside of the court and when they need me. But at the same time, I believe that they need someone who's still their coach. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to explain what they do. I'm trying to convince them to do. I believe much more in influence than in authority.
Okay.
But there will be a time where you got to say, okay, let's do it because I am in charge, and I say that this is how I want us to do it.
But it's interesting to talk about this because I feel like nowadays in the youth programs, the coaches, maybe they expect too much of the technical aspect of basketball, and maybe they forget this more human side, to develop the human rather than the player that you just talked about. What do you think the academy program now is missing to develop better players?
Well, right now I think the biggest problem we have is the perspective and the long-term commitment. And this is basically the big change we had in the last couple of years, especially about the NIL, right? I mean,
this is unbelievable.
Many teams have been investing big money, energies, coaches, lot of sincere effort and high level effort also to recruit, to grow, to teach, to develop these players, and then now it's not a matter of seeing them leaving when they are grown people, even in exchange of a compensation, of a money compensation when they go to a high level European team or to the NBA. Now it's a matter of seeing them leaving when they are 18 and without a compensation. And this is the big issue we have right now. I think that we can talk about many different things we can do better, definitely. Yeah. But the player development until the age of 18 is big time, still big time in Europe. unfortunately, this new factor is having a bad influence because teams are still, are starting to wonder. It is worth all this effort to see them leave this early without basically any compensation. Mm-hmm. We had to do altogether something to make sure that these teams, which are so important in recruiting and in developing young talent, will be compensated for these losses.
Yeah, I hope so. But you talked about NCAA. We all see those amazing coaching legends, in the NCAA that are struggling now with the NIL system, that they say, they struggle, that the players don't have any loyalty to the program. Do you think you would be able to be a coach in this new era now in the NCAA, for example?
Well, definitely the NCAA world has changed. Mm-hmm. And then I live it as a father. Yeah. But when my kid went in, he went in, and in his first year, he was promised a certain role into his first team, and then two kids who went into the transfer portal came back to the team because they didn't find anything better. So basically, he had to redshirt, and this was out of our programs. I learned that there are so many things which can change, even before the NIL. That it's a very tricky world, definitely, where coaches before had freedom, had power, had possibility to have a big influence, especially in recruitment. I'm not sure that was completely fair, but that was what it was, right? After with this new situation, they are much more like NBA coaches. They had to manage agents. They had to manage families who are big time into their kids. They had to manage this possibility to take the best of a player in 6 months. Yeah. It's not 1 year, it's 6 months basically, because maybe he will leave if they don't. So it's a little bit more challenging situation, and definitely much more difficult than before for them.
Small parenthesis about your son. There was a viral video that I even saw back in France of your son shooting a one-legged free throw, right? Did you teach him that?
Not at all. We were mad about that.
Why did he do that?
Because he had an injury in his leg, and he started to. So when at the end of his summer practices, right? There was 2 hours hard workouts, and the leg was a little bit, kind of overcharged or feeling a little bit of tension or pain, and they didn't want to flexionate it. It was a lazy move, right? They didn't want to flexionate that one, and they started to make buckets and started to shoot.
So he put it in his routine.
He ended up being his routine because he was shooting like 90% in practice, 95% in practice, out of 100 shots. But then the season started. And then when season started, it's not like at the end of a summer workout. Free throws are important, free throws are heavy. So he saw that the percentage were not that great. So he came back to a normal shooting situation.
How would you react if one of your players on the national team would shoot one-leg free throw in the Eurobasket?
Man, don't ask me. Don't ask me. Actually, the worst reaction was not mine, was his mom. His mom was 90+% free throw shooter, right? So she was frustrated. She wasn't basically saying a word, but she was really crying.
Really?
Literally crying while watching that, because she was like, okay, maybe one day he will come back to shoot.
Is he keep doing it or no more?
No more. Okay. Not that. He didn't even basically start the champ. He started the cup, this competition.
It was pre-season.
Before,
Yes.
Pre-season, and then from day one in the competition, it changed.
Well, we really see the greatness in the family, even in this room, and your wife.
It was creative.
Amazing, yeah. Coming back on you, I want to discuss about this. People call it the Golden Era of Malaga, when you were coaching from 2003 to 2008. What was so special about this time?
People. It was an unbelievable connection between fans and the team. Obviously we had a chance to build up a very competitive team. The bank.
Final Four EuroLeague, right?
Final Four, third place.
Beautiful.
In EuroLeague, ACB League, King Cup. There was a great connection and super strong support. Obviously, the Unicaja, the sponsor, was backing up. We made some good decisions. We also were lucky because we had a chance to sell a couple of players, Fran Vasquez and Trajan Langdon, getting a super high buyout and having the chance to finish the building up of that team with for example, Marcus Brown, Danny Santiago. So, when you make 3 or 4 high-level accomplishments in a row, obviously there is a number of circumstances and factors which have an influence, right? It was not only one. But if I had to name one, the connection with people.
So do you agree with the name, the Golden Era?
Well, right now they are in another golden era.
Yes.
They are doing great. Yvonne Navarro, I'm happy and lucky to have had him as my assistant coach back in time. He's doing a great job. Juanma Rodriguez as GM, Antonio Lopez Nieto as a president. They are doing really an outstanding job, and I wish them to improve that golden era.
We're very happy because one of our very good friends, Kylian Sili, plays there. So I'm glad that this team gave him a chance, after his struggles with the injuries. So that's cool. But yeah, during that time, you also played against the Memphis Grizzlies in preseason. And you actually beat them, which I don't think a lot of European teams did that. Was it something relevant for you? Were you happy? Was it just like another preseason game? How did you feel about this?
Well, I felt like it was a pending issue because when I was in Scavolini, in one of the first McDonald's Open, we had the game in our hands against the New York Knicks. We were, I think, 14 points up in the fourth quarter, and we were still 3 points up and possession at the end. They had a very lucky 3-point shot to tie the game, and they went overtime. Overtime, we were completely dead. We had players. We were playing with 8-player rotation, and our 2 American players, Darren Day and Darwick Cook, had to play, I think, for the 50 minutes, something crazy like. So they beat us. So when we won against Memphis, I thought about that back in time, and obviously there were Pau Gasol and Juan Carlos Navarro in that team.
What a team.
Mark Ivaroni, who was my player in Brescia as head coach, in my very first stint as a second assistant coach in my own town with Bill Laimbeer. So
guy.
it was a nice night, and I think Malaga people deserve a night like that, right? Because this is what was kind of still missing, like an international crowning, like a team which can beat an NBA team.
What was the first feeling, after that buzzer sound and you beat the NBA team? What's the first thing you feel?
Relief, because they missed the last shot and they could have made it. Well, obviously that's a friendly game, and you can't lose the perspective.
It's a strong message, though.
Well, it is, especially to your own team that you got this. You are strengthening your self-confidence. You can build from there, and you can feel like that if we play well, if we play together, play hard, we can beat even an NBA team with some of our best players ever, like Pau Gasol and Juan Carlos Navarro are arguably 2 of our top 4 or 5 best players ever, but Pau probably the best, and Juan Carlos top 3 or 4 as well. So it was a joy. It was a moment of happiness, but still, don't forget it was a friendly game.
For sure, yeah. But the friendly game. But then many years later, people know that you ended up being assistant coach in Toronto Raptors. So did you always have this idea in mind of I want to be coaching the NBA one day?
No, actually, when I went there, my purpose was to go back to dive deeply into the game, which you can hardly do when you are a head coach. Because when you are a head coach, you have to handle so many different things around the game itself. I'm talking about the game of basketball. So handling personalities, media, management, ownership, agents, you had hundreds of things around which obviously distract you a little bit from the core of our activity, of our profession, which is teaching basketball. When you are an assistant coach in the NBA, you are completely set free from all these things. And you can only think about pure basketball. And that was my purpose. That was when I decided to make this step, was because I wanted to just, obviously in a different situation, different environment, different world, basketball world, we might say. But and I was extremely happy because honestly, I feel that I reached my goal. And obviously, we also won a championship. It was an unbelievable experience. But
as we can see here, hopefully after this you will show us the ring because it's pretty big.
There. Yeah. But once again, the main thing was to be 10, 12 hours per day studying and analyzing the game without any other distraction coming from any other things around the game.
But just the way you talk about it, I really feel a lot of joy coming from you about your time in there, just focusing on the game. But also, you coach Real Madrid, you coach amazing team before that. And to agree to take this assistant coaching job, you have to be like really humble person, right? Because you go from all the spotlight to being in the shadow.
I was feeling great. Honestly, I was feeling great because, and sometimes I was feeling like, since I was the most experienced assistant coach in the coaching staff, I had to support my head coach because I went through all that shit he had to go through, multiplied by 10 because of the dimension of the NBA. So I felt like it was a special responsibility for me to use my experience as a head coach to support him, but at the same time feeling relieved and blessed that at the end of the day, that burden was over somebody else's shoulders. So I tried to do my best. And I felt like I was rewarded and appreciated. But again, I felt like it was good. It was good to stay in that position. Well, we had a few games where I had to be assistant coach because I had to be head coach.
Yeah, we see here the first win.
Basketball, they gave you for.
Tell us about this game.
It was, in the little bit post-COVID, but still COVID.
Okay, yeah.
The head coach had COVID actually, so all of a sudden I was thrown into this new responsibility. Fortunately, I have been head coach for more than 30 years before, so it was not but players were very supportive. Players helped me a lot. They were really trying to do their best, to respect. We had also 3 or 4 players with COVID. So situation was difficult. The situation overall was weird because we were in Tampa. We were away from our market, from Toronto, in that third year of my 3 years in the NBA. So that first win, it's a great memory, even because of how they celebrated after in the locker room.
I can imagine the water and everything.
Yeah. Kyle Lowry handled me the ball of the game, and then the equipment manager immediately taking the ball off because he.
Oh, is the actual game ball?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
They send it to this company which is actually doing this kind of adjustment, and they send him back to me a couple of months later. It was a great experience. Then we went to Boston, and we had a very, very close game. We lost by a couple of points, 2-3 points, and was another beautiful experience. Coaching as a head coach in the Boston Garden against a super high level team with this young talent with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Horford. I mean, it was nice. It was nice. Great memory.
Talking about another crazy moment, I think you were part of one of the craziest shots in the history of basketball when Kawhi Leonard hits that fadeaway 3 for the win at the buzzer, Game 7. What did you feel at this time? We see Jordan Lloyd on the picture now in the EuroLeague, going crazy.
We joke with Jordan about that because our faces, we are in the first plane right there on the sideline. He was like this, and I was like this, like wondering what's going on here. Let me tell you that my first thought when Kawhi took the shot was overtime. After the first bounce, I said,
I mean, in Europe, someone would have tipped it out.
Yep. But there you had time to then wait and see. Maybe second bounce is better than the first. And the third and the fourth were right there. So I was really, my first thought at that specific moment was, okay, how will start overtime? Between one bounce and the third. At the third, I started saying, wait.
Hold
on a second.
I'm getting excited.
And that was an incredible situation. But that was probably, I think, was rewarded as the best sport pitcher of the year because the guy was a genius, being able to
capture the whole team.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So, what did you take from your experience in the NBA and bring back to Europe?
Well, a lot of stuff, handling people, handling groups, in a situation where obviously coaches are not in the same power position that here in Europe. Having to adjust to a very, very difficult schedule with trips, with back-to-backs, and with the need to prepare games in a very, very condensated way, and not basically practicing with full contact for almost the whole year, but still needing to practice, to prepare, to improve. So the biggest lesson, or my biggest take, was how to work in a high quality efficiency, but without taking injury risks.
Because the EuroLeague right now is almost, with the EuroLeague and the local championship, it's almost the same level as the NBA. 80, 90 games. This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
How do you coach players like this?
Well, listen, you had to find the right balance between coaching them and not over-coaching them.
Okay.
And once again, the body must be respected. Basketball minds, especially at this level, are deep, great, eager. They can work mentally, watch film after, before, individually. Short sessions, very intense, with a high level of concentration. Short sessions in practice, but with a high level of concentration. And once again, being able to work on the floor also, but avoiding a full, body contact for more than the right time, not to enter into that red flag area where actually injuries become more likely, and you never want to go there because you have already such as a demanding competitions with so many games which are bringing naturally, unfortunately, injuries to your team.
In the famous Netflix documentary, Court of Gold, where they follow those 4 teams in the Olympics, Coach Pesic says that it's never been harder than today to be a head coach, because you're dealing not only with the player, but also with the mental, with everything on the side around basketball. Do you agree with this take?
Yeah, I agree. Coach Pesic is a great experience. He has been alive and active, and not only active, but succeeding during so many years. He has seen many generations of different generations of players, and he probably had the right perspective also to watch things a little bit from outside, right? Because he hasn't coached a club team in many years, right? So I fully trust him, and I believe that what I was saying before, right? All these things which are around the game itself are big distractions, but at the same time, you need to handle them in the right way, because if you make a mistake, probably it's it will will carry worse effects if you make a mistakes handling that kind of stuff, rather than if you make a mistake handling an X and O's, a pure basketball decision. Because in basketball decision there is always a quick counter decision, an adjustment, something you can correct and adjust. Sometimes when you make a decision outside the floor, or when you even say something not appropriate outside the floor, you can really make a damage to your team, to yourself, to your organization, bigger than missing a play call or calling a defense in a wrong way, in the wrong time.
Coach, so before talking about the national team, I want to discuss a little bit with you your time in Virtus Bologna. You won the Euro Cup. Congrats. But then this happened that it seems like it didn't work anymore and they got rid of you because apparently results. But just a year before you won the Euro Cup, what happened here?
No, it was no results at all, obviously, because that happened at the beginning of my third season. Actually, it was a decision which I kind of encouraged, because the situation had changed completely from when I was convinced by Virtus. Because back then I had just signed my new 3 years contract with the Raptors, and Virtus came in with a high level program. So the perspective, the goal was to improve yearly, and to be at the end of the third year able to compete with the top powerhouses in European basketball. Unfortunately, things didn't go that way.
Why do you think it didn't go right?
Because the company, the owner company, started to get worse and worse, and the budget was cut over and over, and then everybody were feeling very uncomfortable in the new situation, especially because I think was missed a little bit of courage to say to people that the situation was completely different. We had to change perspective, goals. So then, when you are in this situation, you basically feel that the reasons where you came back to Europe, living the NBA, were not there anymore. So they had completely disappeared. And unfortunately, what happened after my departure, and I'm not saying it in a happy way, I'm saying it in a sad way, confirmed that the struggle was going to become bigger and bigger and bigger. So at that point, I prefer to force a little bit.
So you're saying that you couldn't make any changes on the court? It was deeper than that.
On the court, you always have a chance to work with the players you have, but the situation had completely changed, and you decide to make a commitment to a project, to a program, to some goals, some also tools, right, to reach those goals.
Yeah.
Then when the situation changed completely, you feel like you are out of place. And I was really feeling out of place at that point.
So with the situation, did you ever regret leaving the NBA at some point or no?
No, I think no, because I was happy to come back and to win immediately. Very tough competition like Euro Cup. Was a great season, back to the 2 straight years to the finals against a high-level team like Milan, winning 2 Super Cups. No, I don't regret it. Obviously, when the Raptors came back to interview me for the head coach's job, I had the feeling that if I was still within the organization, probably my chances would have been much, much higher. And actually, I recall that when I signed a new contract with the Raptors, Masai Ujiri told me, hey, I hope that Nick will stay forever. but I think you might be an excellent candidate when Nick will leave.
So you were close to have that.
Well, that was when I finally decided to go back to Europe after signing the new contract. Then when after the couple of years, and I think this situation was not too helpful neither in my relationship with Virtus, but obviously that was completely transparent, and they asked for the authorization. They flew all the management of the Raptors flew to Bologna. They one day interviewed me. I couldn't go for the final interview because I was starting the finals in that week. So probably, let's say the timing was not perfect to try to make that jump to the
This is crazy.
to the head coach's position. I think that they made a great choice with Darko Rajakovic, and I'm so happy about him. We are friends, and I think I was probably one of the first to congratulate him when it happened. But I think, let's say that probably the over circumstances didn't help, and I don't think any other franchise, NBA franchise, would propose me to be one of the two finalists in the process of searching for a head coach. That was specific in Toronto because I worked there for 3 years. They knew me, and
they trusted you.
That was just that very, very specific situation.
Is it still a goal of yours to become a NBA head coach one day?
Honestly, I don't think it's in the real perspective of my future. So why to anticipate something which you think is not going to happen? I mean, I don't see it. I don't see it because of the reason I told you right now. I mean, that was just a situation for Toronto. It's still not easy for the NBA to. It's changing a little bit slowly, but I think it will take time. Probably it will go towards young coaches who might go there and spend time and make their route bottom up, like for example Jordi Fernandez, who stayed 15, 16 years as in different positions before becoming head coach. Another great guy whom I'm happy to have worked with as one of my assistant coaches in the national team.
I love the way he communicates with his players. He's very inspiring, and
he's a great coach. He's going to become a super high level coach, in my opinion. So once again, that was that situation was probably once in a lifetime. Didn't happen. I was so close. I'm happy for the guy who finally was chosen, and let's move on.
But now, on the more positive, if we talk about head coach and great career, we cannot say anything else than you and the Spanish national team. It's been an amazing ride. You won so many trophies. You've coached so many generations. My first question to you is, a funny one, but who's the one player that impressed you the most?
Well, I was really fortunate. I had so many great players, great people, different leaderships, 6, 7 different kind of leaderships merged together. Not easy to handle overall, to make everything work, but so proud of them, giving me the possibility to coach them, because at the end of the day, this is how it works. The players decide to let you coach them, and if they finally feel that you can add something to the equation and to help them winning, then at that point they give you their 100%, and they give you, let's say, the green light to coach them and to go sometimes even very demanding or very hard, depending on the situation. So I'm really, really thankful to them because they let me go. But once again, with Pau Gasol, you have the feeling that you were in presence of something different. Let's say, sometimes I was really thinking that this guy was coming from another planet. I mean,
what was so special about him?
was so coordinated, so smart. He had everything. I mean, he could shoot, he could play back to the basket, he could pass, he could compete really hard, he could lead, he could intimidate and protect the rim. So he had so many skills and different qualities that it's very, very difficult to find so many of them together in a single player.
But you remember that time when you played Team USA in the Olympics, and even Kobe talked about it. Like, he said he knew what play you were going to run, and he knew that Pau Gasol was going to set the first screen, and he purposely ran straight into him, because that's the relationship he had with Pau Gasol, because they were so close, and as you said, he was such a good leader. That's the impact he had on people, right?
It's a little bit difficult, right, to get inspiration from someone who's so above the average of the average of the top level, not the average of the average level. I mean, the average of the top level. But his seriousness, his love for the game, his way to prepare, which is a little bit behind the scene, but we had the luck to see it, how he was preparing, how he was recovering, how he was taking care of himself, was definitely different. He was very respected, but the feeling I have, I had in our matches against the U.S. team, and my stint in the NBA, my 3 years in the NBA, is that Pau Gasol was really, really highly respected from his peers, from organizations, from really everyone in the NBA. And this is not easy coming from European young flanky kid who, at 21 leaves his place to go to the NBA. Back then, when there were so few European players succeeding in the NBA.
But Coach, I have to be honest, I grew all my life in France, cheering for the French national team. Yeah. And Liul, Fernandez, Rodriguez gave me all the reasons to hate with all my heart the Spanish national team. Those fights were unbelievable, and especially those 3 players. Was it personal against France, those games, or nothing was personal?
No. I mean, we had clear that talent-wise, they were the number one in every competition. Talent-wise, it was a no-brainer. They were more athletic, deeper, individually more gifted, more talented, with so many NBA players. I mean, we knew that we couldn't beat them just playing face-to-face, straight, right? Talent versus talent, athleticism versus athleticism, physicality versus physicality. We had to find something different, and fortunately, most of the time we found it.
What was the different factor?
Well, something in the chemistry of the team, something in the game preparation, something which could surprise, strategy-wise. But again, you're right when you say that the level of the motivation was higher when we were, because when you're playing the best and the most gifted team in the competition, you know that you had to do something special to beat them. And that was the feeling we had when we were facing, when they were, kind of hugging during the national anthem, seeing so many guys, super athlete, super great player, NBA big time player, everybody right there in front of me. You were saying, wow, tonight is going to be a long night. Fortunately, it was longer for them most of the time, but they were great. I mean, it was a healthy rivalry. Yeah. There were great games, and those 2 years I was not with the national team, the 13 and 14, the European Championship, which France won, and then in the World Championship in Spain, when France eliminated Spain in quarterfinal. Watching them from behind, I was thinking, well, okay, I'm still a fan of the national team being outside, so I'm unhappy, obviously, that they lost. But I think they deserve it to finally get a couple of years where they.
No, but sorry for my language, but what I felt that Spanish team, I just had more cojones.
That's good expression, but.
Yeah.
You have to put a lot of basketball there.
Of course,
a lot of good decision making. Our players, honestly, I think that something which is really making a difference in how Spanish kids, young players are developed and are grown. Obviously, not even 30% of the physical conditions. Comparing with other high-level countries like France, like Serbia, like Germany, etc. But the big asset is that the decision making, the fundamentals, the teaching is high level, and the level of the competition in the youth ages, especially very, very young Eve, like under 13, 14, 15, 16, is extremely higher than anywhere else. Then, of course, when bodies and athleticism and size start making the difference, that the under 18, under 20, things become very, very difficult.
Yeah.
But still, that base of game knowledge, of being used to a good level of decision making on the floor is still there. It's still a great heritage to bring to the game, even when the difference of athleticism and physicality is so evident.
Interesting. And now I want to talk a little bit about a naturalized player. We had on our podcast Nikola Mirotic, and he said that he never felt Spanish. So what is your opinion on countries that naturalized players? Now Spain, you have Lorenzo Brown. What is your opinion as a head coach on this rule?
Well, honestly, I have learned that the country is a very complex, I would say, institution, group of people, area. Especially Spain has a very tricky situation with regions where they are feeling a little bit more in a way, other regions where they feel different. So I learned that I had to be a basketball coach, and I had to coach people from a basketball standpoint.
You don't deal with politics.
Honestly, don't deal with politics. And my players were great, not bringing politics on the table of our team meals or trips or whatever. We just focus on basketball, and the rules allow certain kind of status situation. Federation make a decision, other federation make different decisions. We respect everything. I am a coach, so I just coach who I can give an opinion. When they ask me an opinion about Lorenzo, I coached him in Toronto. I gave a positive opinion because I knew him. I had a great opinion about him as a player and as a person. That's it. They decided to bring him in, and we were happy to have him.
Did he learn some Spanish, Lorenzo, or still not much? Yeah.
He's learning. He's understanding basically everything.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And he's speaking quite well.
But it's great that Spanish people support, because there's always these opinions that Spanish are very proud and they don't really let people from outside.
No, I don't think. I am Italian. I was so very, very well accepted. Honestly, they had to feel that you're bringing something better, something new, something which can improve, like everywhere. I don't think that I didn't have a feeling in the United States, in the NBA, that they were happy to accept everyone from outside the NBA or coming from different countries. But when they were getting to the point that this guy was helping, was really contributing, then you are not Italian, Spanish, American, French. You are a good basketball stakeholder, let's say, a player, a coach, a referee, or a manager, and you're bringing good things to your sport.
Quick funny question: who has the better food, Italy or Spain?
Depends. First dishes, Italy. Second one, I mean, risotto, pasta. Second one, like meat and fish, probably Spain. And dessert is a tough
Italy.
one. Dessert is a
It
tough
has to be Italy.
I mean, there are very good desserts here too. And I probably going to be 51-49 Italy, but
Okay.
But you have great dessert here too.
All right. We're approaching the end of the podcast, but now you're mainly focusing on the Spanish national team, Eurobasket coming up. But do you have in mind to coach a club again? And if yes, which club would you have in mind to coach?
Yeah, I am very open because I feel that working with the TV, you are really on top of everything. I mean, you see 3-4 games per team of the two you are going to broadcast, right, every week, and you are analyzing 25 pages in files of advanced stats, and you analyze profiles, and I feel like this is where I belong, right? The day-by-day competition. Nobody probably start as a national team coach. Everybody starts as a club team coach, right? And then you learn how to coach a national team afterward. So I'm at the same time absolutely open, but fortunately the overall situation in my life allowed me not to say yes to any proposal. So the right proposal will come out, and I will be happy to embrace it. Otherwise, I can humbly afford to let it go.
Yeah, I heard some rumors about Real Madrid proposing you a head coaching job. Is it like close to the truth, or there's nothing much here? What is this?
Listen, I think that when somebody is in charge, coaching a team, no coach has right to not negotiate, but not even talk about anything, right? Then obviously there are agents, there are managers, they are having their conversation, whatever. I don't want to even know about that, but Real Madrid is a very good coach. I'm really proud to have been his head coach for many years. He helped me a lot with Real Madrid, with Unicaja, with the Spanish national team. I think he's doing great. Honestly, I think he's doing great through many difficulties.
Yes.
So I don't think it's appropriate to say anything, one single word on top of that.
So where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Well, why not on a basketball court? Because
seems like you really belong to the basketball court. Like basketball is your main. I can feel it, that is really truly your passion and your purpose in life. Yeah,
I enjoy a lot. This is my life, obviously my family, and you have also life outside basketball. There's no question, but basketball will always be a big part of my life. And when I had that couple of years and was manager in Real Madrid along with the head coach, I felt like you can do both things at the same time. And right now I feel I am a coach. Honestly, I feel like I am a coach. And when I see other coaches acting or team playing or player head, I feel like, okay, this is where I belong. This is something. Sometimes people take for new in basketball in the game itself, something which we were basically doing 10 years ago. And then you smile a little bit, you laugh a little bit, and you think, hey, when I was doing this 10 years ago, was I saying the same? While other coach will say, come on, this is what we were saying 20 years ago. obviously the development, the evolution of the game is extremely fast. And having been 3 years in the NBA, I can feel that Europe is definitely following. So I can play with a little bit of advantage, right? Having clear in my mind where the game is going. But overall, it's a matter of loving this game and of being so passionate and willing to put time and energy for the game of my life.
This is amazing. And my last question to you is, once you will be gone from this planet, what do you want to be remembered for?
Well, hopefully some legacy will be there, right? Like somebody will say, okay, we are the shadow of this tree because this guy many years ago planted this tree, right?
That's a good saying.
But basically more of a personal consideration, right? Family consideration. My kids, the charity foundation, which is already in its 17 years of activity, honoring the name of my dad. These are probably the main factors which are moving you in terms of legacy, in terms of what's going on next or very next. That's probably some values and some life situations which are probably, hopefully, survive you when if you have done a good job or living or putting the right seeds in the right places.
Thank you so much, Coach. It's been a pleasure. But I have to ask you one more thing. I don't think I'm going to get the chance a lot more. Can I please see this ring, this right here?
Of course.
Man, this is unbelievable.
Feel free to wear it.
Can I?
Yeah, sure.